Okay, here's a simple test to you. Should it be A, B, or C? It's B, 一辆车. Did you get it right? This is about the measure word in Chinese. First and foremost, I must note that, in general, Chinese grammar is comparatively simpler than English. For instance, in Chinese, you don't have to worry about the object case, changing the verb format, and so forth. However, measure word in Chinese can pose a challenge. This challenge arises because theoretically, every Chinese noun should be preceded by a measure word, and this measure word can be varied. Sometimes, even the same noun can have different measure words depending on the context. Today, I will introduce you to the 10 most common measure words in Chinese. First, 个. The Chinese measure word 个 is often considered a universal classifier, particularly useful for denoting people and a wide range of objects. While it acts as safe default for many nouns, especially when you are not certain of appropriate specific measure word, it's essential to recognize that the versatility might lead learner to over-rely on it. However, the intricacies of the Chinese language often have more apt measure words tailored to a specific noun, emphasizing the object's characteristics or naturals, make it vital for learner to diversify their understanding and application of the measure words. For example, 一个人 one person, 一个苹果 one apple, 一个问题 one question. Second, 本. The measure word 本 in Chinese is your go-to when talking about anything with pages, like books, notebooks, or magazines. Think of it as capturing the essence of things that are bound together or have a sequence. While beginners might often lean on the all-purpose 个, it's more on point and professional to use 本 for these items. So next time you are chatting about a book or a magazine in Chinese, remember to pair with 本 to sound more fluent and polished. For example, 一本书 one book, 一本杂志 one magazine, 一本日记 one diary. Third, 张. The measure word 张 in Chinese typically refers to flat, thin items such as paper, cards, or table covers. It's like capturing the essence of things that spread out in a single layer. For newcomers to the language, the catch-all 个 might be a tempting fallback, but for objects like tickets, photos, or sheet of paper, 张 is the way to go. So next time you are discussing a flat object like tickets or a photo, remember 张 is your best linguistic companion. For example, 一张纸 a piece of paper, 一张票 one ticket, 一张桌子 a table. Fourth, 条. The measure word 条 in Chinese used on items categorized by length and flexibility, like rivers, roads, or trousers. Picture it as the ideal descriptor for things with elongate or linear form. While it might be tempting for newcomers to lean on generic measure words such as 张 for the flat objects, it's essential to differentiate them. For items like snakes, ropes, or pathway, 条 is undeniably the apt choice. So for all things lengthy and sinuous, let 条 be your to-go linguistic tool. For example, 一条河 one river, 一条裤子 one trousers, 一条消息 one piece of news. Fifth, 只. The measure word 只 in Chinese is primarily linked to paired items or single animals representing one of the pair, like shoes or animals such as bird or cat. Think of it as a way to spotlight one from typical duo or to detail individual creatures. For singular creature or when referencing one item from a pair, 只 is the quintessential choice. So remember, when discussing singular animals or one half of a pair, 只 should be your primary linguistic selection. For example, 一只猫 one cat, 一只手 one hand, 一只鞋 one shoe. 6. 辆. The measure word 辆 in Chinese is customarily used for vehicles like cars or bicycles, predominantly in mainland Mandarin. Visualize it as the chosen term for most wheeled transport. However, linguistic regional variation exists. In Taiwan, the measure word 台 is preferred when discussing vehicles, while in south part of China, especially in Cantonese-speaking regions, 不 is more frequently used. While these regional nuances are evident, it's important to note that most of the time, 辆, 台, and 不 can be interchangeably used when talking about vehicles. Still, to optimize linguistic accuracy and cultural resonance, it's beneficial to use measure word most appropriate for the region you are communicating in. So, in mainland China, you'd typically use liàng, in Taiwan, tai, and in Cantonese regions, bu to sound both precise and in tune with local vernacular. For example, 一辆车 one car, 一辆自行车 one bicycle, 一辆摩托车 one motorcycle. 7th, 件. The measure word 件 in Chinese is primarily utilized for pieces of clothing, items, or matters, symbolizing an individual unit or instance of something. Think of it as a descriptor of distinct piece of shirt or event. However, linguistic distinctions are essential, especially when compared with tiáo. While tiáo is typically reserved for long, flexible items like robes or trousers, jiàn shines when detailing individual clothing items or specific matter or events. While there's a certain overlap, discerning between jiàn and tiáo is crucial for linguistic precision. So when referring to individual items of clothing or distinct event, jiàn should be your preferred choice to keeping tiáo for elongate items. For example, 一件衣服 one piece of clothing, 一件事情 a matter or a thing, 一件礼物 one gift. 8th, 次. The measure word 次 in Chinese predominantly refers to occurrences or times an action is performed, serving as an indicator of frequency. Imagine it as a way to quantify events like 3 times or many times. Contrastingly, 变 is another measure word that also indicates frequency but carries the nuances of covering a whole process or entirety. While 次 might be used to express I went to the store 3 times, 变 could imply I searched the entire house from top to bottom 3 times. Although both can denote frequency, understanding the nuance between 次 and 变 is vital for linguistic clarity. Using 次 accurately showcases your precision in Mandarin, but it's equally important to grasp when 变 is more appropriate to capture entirety of the action or process. For example, 一次机会 one opportunity, 3次会议 3 meetings, 2次尝试 2 attempts. 9th, 片. The measure word 片 in Chinese is primarily used for flat and thin objects, often capturing things like slices or areas, such as a slice of bread or a field of grass. Visualize it as denoting pieces or sections of large entities. In contrast, zhāng is another measure word for flat items we just mentioned before, but it's more commonly associated with paper-like objects like tickets or photos. While piàn might be apt for expression a slice of apple, zhāng could be more fitting for a sheet of paper. While both measure words describe the flat object, discerning the nuances between piàn and zhāng is key to linguistic fineness. Employing piàn correctly reflects a refined understanding of Mandarin's intricacies, but it's just as crucial to recognize situations where zhāng is more appropriate choice. For example, 一片面包 one slice of bread, 一片森林 an area of forest, 一片叶子 one leaf. 10th, shuāng. The measure word shuāng in Chinese often used to denote pairs, especially in the context of items that naturally come as two sums, such as shoes or gloves. Think of shuāng as the representative terms for the items that function in pairs. On the other hand, 对 is another measure word that signifies pairs, but it's broader in its application, often employed for paired objects or people, like a couple or a pair of earrings. While shuāng might be aptly used for a pair of shoes, 对 could be used for a pair of lovers, though both shuāng and 对 can sometimes be interchangeable when referring pairs. Appreciating the subtle differences is pivotal for linguistic precision. Example, 一双鞋 a pair of shoes, 一双筷子 a pair of chopsticks, 一双手套 a pair of gloves. Chinese measure words are special words used before nouns to give more detail about what we are talking about, like the differences between a slice of cake and a piece of cake in English. They help making things clear in conversation. However, choosing the right one is important because different parts of China might use different measure words for the same thing. Learning and using these words correctly shows respect for the language and its tradition. For anyone trying to speak Mandarin well, getting these words right is a big step towards sounding more natural and understanding the language's unique features. So, if you like this video, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you would like to learn more about Chinese, please click this video. And I will see you in next video.